Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Tech Tactics here, and if you haven't already noticed, it's the holiday season. And with the holiday season comes all sorts of reasons why you might have to buy gifts for someone, and a lot of times you don't know what to get those people. However, you might know that they're interested in computers, or they might need a computer, or you definitely know your price range. And that's why I'm putting together a series of YouTube videos that will help you guys make a computer for a certain price range. And today's price range is going to be how to build a computer for under $300. And that's probably the cheapest you're going to be able to do it. So, if you're interested in how I was able to get a parts list for a computer under $300, definitely stick with this video, and I'll see you guys in just a second. Alright, and we're back. So for this $300 computer, this is going to be absolute bare minimum, basically. Honestly, I had a tough time staying within this $300 budget. And if you're looking to do gaming, I would definitely recommend that you somehow save up a bit more money so that maybe you guys can reach up to the $500 build that I also did a video on. However, $300 is perfectly acceptable for any sort of internet browsing or just basic uses for a computer. And that is why I still felt I should do the video, because not everyone is going to be gaming or video editing or doing some sort of intensive task on their computer. So, let's jump right into this parts list. For the CPU, I chose the Intel Celeron G1820. This is a 2.7 GHz dual-core CPU. Now, if you don't know what CPU is, it's a central processing unit. And 2.7 GHz is going to be decent. It's also a dual-core, so it's going to be able to handle pretty much anything that's a basic task. So it's gonna be just fine for internet browsing, just fine for watching videos, doing whatever you really want to do, other than something demanding. So you won't be able to get too much gaming on the CPU. However, it might be able to handle a little bit when paired with a decent GPU or graphics processing unit. So moving on from the CPU, we're going to be doing an ASRock B85 Anniversary ATX LGA 1150 motherboard. Now this motherboard is basically as cheap as they come. It doesn't feature much, but it will be able to do what you need it to do. It supports more than enough RAM for this video, as we're only doing 4 gigs of RAM, and it should be a decent motherboard as it has good reviews and it's at a very cheap price. So I don't see what else we need for this build, as you're not going to be using much, you're not going to be overclocking, you don't need a great BIOS or anything like that. So we're kind of sticking with the bare minimums so that we can actually stay within our $300 price range. Now, for the RAM, we're using 4 gigs of Kingston RAM. We're only doing a single 4 gig strip opposed to doing two 2 gig strips, so that we can save room on the motherboard in case we ever decide to upgrade to more RAM. As if you have a lot of Chrome tabs open, you can actually reach that 4 gig RAM limit pretty easily. So the 4 gigs by Kingston, it doesn't have any sort of heat spreader on it. It's just the RAM, which is not an issue unless you're really looking to build a computer that looks nice. But at this price point, I don't think too many people are going to be doing that anyways. Besides, it's extremely cheap, as you guys can see. So, as for the hard drive, this might seem a little excessive to some people for the type of build that we're doing. I chose a WD Blue drive. Now, WD Blues, or Western Digital Blue, is a decent hard drive. In fact, that's what I'm currently using in my gaming computer. However, the blue is a little slow. It's probably one of their slowest aside from the green. But what you guys are going to be a little confused at first, maybe, is I went with 1 terabyte. Now, for the typical uses that this computer will see, most likely, since it's not going to be any sort of enthusiast build, it's not going to see much of anything, really. So, you ask yourself, why do you need 1 terabyte? Well, you never know what the user's going to be building, and if you don't need a terabyte, then you can select a smaller hard drive. However, keep in mind that honestly, you're not going to be able to get a hard drive much cheaper than this, whether it's 120 gig or a 512 gig, or if it's that 1 terabyte that I chose. Because honestly, the smaller hard drives are not much cheaper than this. You really can't get much of a cheaper hard drive unless you find it used or something. And that's why I spent the extra $5-10 or so opposed to getting a smaller hard drive. That way you have it a little bit more future proof. So we're moving on to the case. And the case is just basically the cheapest sturdy case I could possibly find, as we're not going for aesthetics, we're going for the best performance we can get for this price range. But the case I chose was by Cooler Master, and it is the N600, and it does have a window. So if you're at all interested in possibly showing off your computer, or just want to have a decent looking case, it'll look nice to see through the window and see all your components. Now this case is extremely cheap. You really can't get it much cheaper. And maybe I did spend an extra $10 or so, but that's because I wanted to go with a well-known, well-liked brand, opposed to getting an unknown brand of case. So, for the power supply and the last and final component, this is going to be a Corsair CX600M. Now, the 600 watts is extremely overkill for this build, as PC Part Picker is only calculating 147 watts for this computer. However, this is extremely cheap right now at only like $30, and it's semi-modular, so that way you can actually take the time to make your cables look nice in your case with a window. And it's super reliable, and it's an 80+ bronze certified power supply. And even if I was to go with a smaller, less wattage power supply, it would have ended up being about the same price, since this power supply at the time of making this video is on sale for so cheap. So that's why I went with that power supply, and that's about it. This computer was very quick, very simple, basically the bare minimums of a computer, but you'll still be able to do everyday tasks such as watching YouTube or just using Google for whatever you might need to do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you found it informative in any way, please be sure to leave a like, as I really do appreciate it and it helps me out a lot. And if you really liked it or are interested in seeing my $500 or my $1,000 or my $1,500 or my $2,000 or my $5,000 computer builds, definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. So, peace.